Hey guys, it's Linux Next here, and today's video we are going to be looking at Cosmic Desktop Alpha 6. It is finally here. It was delayed by I think a couple of days or so, but it did come out, and there is a bunch of new features and improvements with this desktop environment that brings it on track, I would say, to a really good stable release, which the stable release I would say is still far away, but it's on track to looking like an actual good desktop that you can use for mostly anything. So if you guys didn't know, the System 76 developers did post a new blog post about Cosmic Alpha 6. I would definitely go read it if you don't really want to watch this video, but I guess that's why you came in to watch this video, is because you want to see the new features. Now, one of the first things that we are going to talk about is the bugs on the Cosmic desktop, because I think it's important that you just put that at the start because, well, it's an alpha desktop. The desktop environment is not complete, and so there is a decent amount of bugs still remaining, or maybe just like features missing also, or like suggestions that I'll say in the video also. So one of the first bugs that I do experience is goofcord. It is a Discord alternative to the Discord desktop client. It's like a web Discord basically, and installing it with the .app image, as you can see, it's available in the Cosmic launcher. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. When you pin this to the app tray, as you can see, it creates a kind of like a dummy shortcut, which you can't do anything with that shortcut. As you can see, I'm clicking it right now, as you can see, and it's not launching the application. While if I launch it through here, it should work, which it does. Now, I am pretty sure that with goofcord under Flatpak, the issue is solved. But the reason I use the app image is because I want to use the rich presence server thing that gets run on goofcord, so then it can pick up the games that I'm playing, so my friends know what game I'm playing while I'm at my computer. Now, the other one is about the note application that I use, which is called NotesNook. It's a really nice notes application that's like encrypted, and you can share it across all your devices, and it's open source. That's another good thing about it. And as you can see, there is another dummy shortcut, and this is with Flatpak also. So as you can see, here's my notes application, and as you can see, it's pinned right here, but it creates its own shortcut. While on something like KD Plasma, it doesn't do that. Now, that could be the NotesNook developers who have to fix that problem, not Cosmic. But besides that, it is a bug that I have noticed, or just a little issue. Now, another one that I have mentioned basically I think every time when I do a Cosmic Alpha video, and that is the XGD desktop portal does not spawn when you launch OBS Studio the first time you log into Cosmic. I have to log out of Cosmic, not restart or shut down. I just have to log out, log back in, and then the portal will spawn when I launch OBS Studio, so then I can screen share on OBS. I don't know why this issue is necessarily happening. I don't know if it happens on the regular version of Pop OS with the Cosmic Alpha desktop environment. But it is a bug nonetheless. And one big bug that I noticed is that Cosmic Files takes up to 12 seconds to load. I thought Cosmic Files was actually just not working, but it actually took 12 seconds. And I timed it, and then I versed it against Dolphin. The comparison's not really that good, I would say, because Cosmic Files is still in its development stage, while Dolphin has been out for like a decade now, so it's refined itself and it's really good at launching. So it was like 12 seconds versus under a second, so big difference. We can launch it right now and see how long it takes. As you can see, it hasn't loaded yet. We'll wait for it to finish. Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Hey, there we go. Now it's fully loaded. So now we can actually use the Files application, because while it's loading, you can't do anything else in Cosmic Files. You have to wait for it to fully load. So I do think like over time, Cosmic Files will probably just get more improved when it comes to its performance. And so loading times will just be a lot more quicker. And I do not remember it doing this before, so this might be a bug. And when we do actually run it in the terminal, it does output some logs. So if we do Cosmic Files here, we can see it spits out a error sending event to subscription, try send error, kind full. I don't know what that means. It's something to do with iced_futures. So probably the iced toolkit is maybe having some issue when it comes to loading it. And see, it just spits this out. I don't know if that's actually a good thing or a bad thing. It looks like a bad thing because it's saying it's an error, sending an event, and there's a fat warning on it. So hopefully this bug can be solved also in the future. And the last bug that I do experience with the Cosmic Desktop that I have noticed is the same wallpaper on all displays. This is still an issue. I've mentioned this a couple times in the other alpha releases. When you decide to change these individually and you go same wallpaper and you click on this car wallpaper, as you can see, it didn't change it on all of the wallpapers. But if we deselect this and we go, I think it's this one. No, it's this one. Yeah, as we can see, there we go. The wallpaper does change, but it doesn't change on same wallpaper on all displays. So quite a weird bug that has been affecting me for quite a while now on the Cosmic Desktop. Not that big of a deal, as I know I can just, individually select the wallpaper on the monitors, but it is a bug nonetheless. So what is new in the Alpha 6 release of the Cosmic Desktop? Well, if you do open up Cosmic Settings and you go, you'll see there is a new section or tab where you can go to the accessibility. And there's one option available right now, which is the Magnifier. So you can now zoom into things and look at them extremely closely. So if we do turn this on, I did add the accessibility applet as that also got included, and we click on Magnifier. As we can see, now we can zoom in. Whoa, insane. And we can zoom in and 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 really just go to town. Like, we can just keep going. Oh, okay, that's the maximum then. Okay, so the maximum is 1,375. And then I think this is a scaling option. So quite interesting to say the least. We click that out. There you go. We zoom back out. And the screen reader has been added fully to the accessibility applet. I don't know why it's not in the accessibility settings. Maybe it's not finished in the settings application. But when it comes to the applet, you can turn it on now. If you want to have a screen reader, because before you had to do it in a terminal to get it working, and so it was a bit experimental, and now it seems like it's mostly complete when it comes to a screen reader. And when I have been reading the changelog for Alpha 6 with the accessibility features, they are also working on a high contrast mode, a color inversion, and various color filters for color blindness in the accessibility settings. So that is going to be something that they are working on, and will be added soon probably to the applet and the settings application, as I was saying. Now, one other thing, if you have noticed, is that there is desktop icons now.
Whoa, insane. Another
feature that other desktop environments have. They finally decided to add it. I did notice in the alpha release before it was available, but it was a bit not really finished, and now it is. So if we right click on our desktop here and we go desktop view options, there now is a window that appears that says show on desktop. What would you like to show on the desktop? So you can show desktop folder content, trash folder icon, and mounted drives. So I just show the mounted drives because I feel like this is too much, but I know other people have way more shortcuts on their desktop, and that's perfectly fine. You do whatever you want to do, and then you can adjust the icon size and spacing. So you can adjust the size, as you can see, it's nice and big. Its maximum is 500, and then its grid spacing can go to 500 also. Now, one extra interesting feature that has been added, if you haven't noticed in the display options, is a additional scale options. So originally, there was the normal scaling that you usually see, and then there's now an additional scaling options which goes up by 5. So that is a quite interesting feature. As I know before, I was actually watching this happen, and originally this wasn't one that goes up, it was a slider before. Instead of just a plus and minus, you would just slide it across, but then they decided to change it to this, which is better, I would say, because the slider didn't really work that well, and there wasn't any stages that you would go to. It was kind of just like you would move it, and you wouldn't really know what percentage you would land at. So this is a lot better, I would say, the final implementation, but I would like to see this zoomed back down to the regular size with these font sizes, because I just feel like it's just too big. It's just like out of place, but it does look fine. It does the job, of course, and it is a good option if you want to scale your monitors in a more incremental way. As I know, there's all types of different sizes out there when it comes to monitors now, and scaling, it's like you can't do, some people don't like 125 or 150, so they rather do 130 or 115 or 110 or 105 or something, just to make it that bit extra perfect. And when scaling also, there's no blurriness with the icons or anything. It's extremely sharp and works great, I would say. Now, of course, you still have the problem with X-Wayland applications may look blurry, depending on the option you choose here with the X11 scaling option, but a good feature nonetheless. So while I was scaling on the Cosmic settings, the XG desktop portal actually froze and broke. So I have to basically stop the recording right now and restart my computer so then I can use the portal to screen share on OBS Studio. So basically all I was doing, if any Cosmic developers are watching, I was just changing the additional scaling options, and I was screen sharing with OBS Studio with the XG desktop portal, and it broke when I was changing the additional scaling options. Now, when it comes to the workspaces, this has been improved. Personally, I don't use workspaces, but I know lots of people do. They like to spread out their work on one workspace, and then they want to have, like, I don't know, their Steam and games and all that on a different workspace. I perfectly understand this feature and why people use it, and it did get some new features. Like, for starters, you can now scroll between workspaces in the overview now. So if we do click on our overview here, we can now scroll with the scrolling wheel. Whoa, insane. And then clicking on the preview of the current workspace or empty space in the workspace overview will allow you to exit the workspace view. So if we do click on here and we click out here, it exits the workspace view, which is pretty damn cool. Or the current one, which is this one. So pretty cool that they've just refined it a little bit and added some new options. And when it comes to minimize windows, they can now be dragged and dropped between workspaces, while windows can be moved to another display by dropping them in the workspace overview. Dragging a window out of this stack will match expectations and no longer move the whole stack. Window titles in the overview are now at the top left of the window and match the user's theme. Additionally, workspace features, including pinned workspaces, will arrive in a future update. So I did actually see that, and I think it was in the Cosmic Compositor, I think, and some other projects. I did see they created a separate branch for working on the pinned workspaces, so that is coming soon because they've been working on that for like a couple of weeks now. So awesome feature coming soon, I would say. Now, one new feature in the window management is called floating windows gravitate to nearby edges. It says here, toggling on floating windows gravitate to nearby edges in window management settings will automatically align a window's edge to the adjacent screen border when dragged close to it, removing the struggle of aligning it with the edge manually. So if we look in window management, that option is available. And when it talks about how this works, when you automatically align a window's edge to the adjacent screen border when dragged close to it, removing the struggle of aligning it with the edge manually. So I think what I was talking about is this. So when you slam a window to the side of like your monitor or something, it's a lot more easier, I guess, as it will basically do it for you. So that's pretty damn cool. If I turn it off, and we do it again, there's a slight difference. Well, if you turn it on and we do it, you can see the colored line is more visible, meaning that the nearby edges, they're lining up a little bit better. So a nice little addition, I would say, for the window management side of things. Personally, I don't really care about that feature, but if you are someone who's likes to align windows up to their monitors, it's now just more easier to do that. And if you don't like that, you can turn it off. Now, one other new feature is to do with the launcher. So if you search in the launcher and it yields more than 8 entries, the users can now scroll to see additional options. In addition, the launcher has been updated to trigger a countdown timer whenever power off, restart, and logout are selected, matching the behavior of the power applet. Now for me, the 8 entries, I was not able to get 8 entries on my launcher, so I simply just couldn't do it, where it has the additional options where you can scroll down further. I just wasn't able to do that. And the other one is the countdown timer. That also didn't work for me, and I made sure that every single Cosmic package was updated to the latest Git version from the AUR, and I just wasn't able to get that to work. Every time I clicked on it, it did it instantly instead of having a timer like what it does in the power applet. But nonetheless, 2 nice features to have now in the launcher if you do use that. Now, when it comes to the Cosmic files, the new features are file path completion is now in Cosmic files. Hitting the down arrow when typing a file path into the search bar will automatically finish the file path you're searching for. So if we do search something here, which goes / I don't know, pictures, as you can see, that shows up. We can click the down arrow key and it fills the rest for us. So nice and easy. And some other things like copying a file allows pasting of the file path in other applications, which is true. I did try this. So if we do this home/Pollock/pictures, for example, and we can see we can copy and paste it in here. And when it comes to navigating Cosmic files, it is now a little bit easier with some extra keys for navigating. So the home and end keys can now work in Cosmic files, which for me, I have a 60% keyboard, so I'm not able to, I don't think I'm able to actually use the home or end keys on my keyboard. I think I may be able to do it with a layout in the keyboard software, but for right now, I'm not able to use that, so I'm not able to show the navigation off. And the last thing for Cosmic files is you can now compress and extract password protected zip files, and drag selecting will scroll the content window. So overall, I would say these features for Cosmic files is really nice to see. And one small thing I would say that has been introduced, but it is an important one because people do use it, and that is being able to copy and paste with the middle mouse button now. So just convenience, as they say here, which is true. It's just more of just like a convenience thing. And we can try this. If you do middle click with our mouse, middle mouse button, and then we open up a new tab. Wow, look at that, amazing. And if we try and line up our mouse again, we can just do it over and over and over. Cool. Works perfectly as it should. Now, when it comes to the Cosmic Media Player, the nav bar has been added for viewing folders in a tree view, which I'll show very soon. It's very cool, to display the video files available to open in the media player. File menu options have also been completed, as we can see here. So if we do open up the Cosmic Media Player and we look here, we can see we can open up a folder, go videos, for example, and we get a nice tree of all of these videos. So we can look through some of these videos. Click on that. Whoa, it's working perfect, I would say. And we can easily just switch to another video. There we go. We're in another one. Pretty cool. And as we were shown before, the file menu picker, you could say, has been completed. So there's open media, open recent media, close file, open media folder, open recent media folder, and then close media folder. And another thing that I noticed is that the media player, they're trying to not just make Cosmic a video player, they're trying to make it kind of like everything when it comes to media, including music. And it's actually going to try and grab the metadata from a music file. So if you have locally stored music and it has metadata, it should be able to pull those things in properly. And we did test this out today. If I go open up, we go open folder, and we go to music, and we see here there is a music thing here, and we're just going to mute this because this is copyrighted music. And as we can see, it does have metadata and it's able to show it perfectly fine, and we can resize it to make it look like a music player in a sense. And I would say this looks really nice. Yeah, you can kind of resize it to whatever you want, and of course you still get the option where you can select the different folders. And the last thing is the Empress control has been added to show and control currently playing media in the sound applet, and the scrubber now moves to a second line for improved single column usability. So if we play some music here again, open up the music and we select it, and then we go to our music thing here and we hit play. As we can see, the music is playing, but we only have a pause option, it seems. Well, on here it said they've added to show and control currently playing media player in the sound applet, and the scrubber now moves to a second line for improved single column usability. So I do know this does work properly with the sound. It's not working, I guess, fully, or maybe it doesn't have as much functionality with the Cosmic Media Player, because if I play YouTube music, for example, we mute it, and we got some music playing here. As you can see, there is the usual skip to a different song, or the pause, and then there's the show media controls, which shows up here on the panel for you, so you can easily adjust it. Now, the next one is about the Cosmic Editor. So there is now a revert all changes feature in the Cosmic Edit. So if we do open up a document here, we brought up a text document, it says, "Hi, this is Linux Next. This document is about showing the revert behavior in the Cosmic Text Editor." So if we do file, I'm pretty sure, we can do revert all changes, which I don't think works because we saved the files. We're going to have to type something random, and then we go revert all changes. There you go. So then it reverts all the changes that you did in that text editor session. So it doesn't delete these ones because it was already saved to the text editor. Type something new to then revert all the changes that I have done. And of course, there is an undo and redo. So don't worry if you've thought this is the only option for reverting changes. There is, as you can see, an undo and redo options in the text editor. So I would say, yeah, this is a nice feature for the text editor. And when it comes to the other features, it is a file close project to remove the project from the navbar and bringing up a new document and tab. When multiple tabs are open, you can also cycle them with Control Tab and Control Shift Tab shortcuts. So that is really damn good. If we do test that out, yeah, that actually does work. We're doing Control Tab, that works, and then Control Shift Tab, which also goes backwards instead. So Control Tab is to go forwards and Control Shift Tab is to go backwards. Pretty cool. Awesome change. And the zoom functionality that we saw before is implemented in the Cosmic Editor itself. So if you don't want to zoom in the whole desktop, you can just zoom in the text editor itself. Another I would say big change is the font that they want to use on the Cosmic desktop. Now the default font they've chosen is Open Sans, and this replaces Fira Sans. Fira Sans? Pretty sure that's how you say it. And I would say that this font looks pretty good. Now on my desktop, it looks like the font anti-aliasing that's behind it, there's none, so it looks really sharp, while on my laptop, who got the update on the system, the Pop! OS Alpha ISO, the font does look actually good, and it doesn't have this sharp text to it, but the actual font itself does look nice. And if we do compare it, we go to appearance here, and we do type in Fira Sans, I would say that I prefer Fira Sans because I like fonts that are more squished together and they're rather taller. So not really into the whole spacious type fonts where it's a bit more wider, but this does do the job, and I would use it. I wouldn't change it personally because it's something that I don't really care about. I'm just here to use my desktop environment, not to look at how nice a font looks. But if you do care about that, you can, of course, just change it in the desktop settings itself. And the other one that got changed was the monospace font to the Noto Sans Mono font, which looks perfectly fine, I would say also. And now we look at some of the resource optimizations with the Cosmic desktop. The memory usage has been greatly reduced in a number of areas, including minimize, Cosmic files, and workspaces. A related update made to libcosmic should prevent memory fragmentation. In addition, optimizations to Cosmic Test and free desktop icons have reduced memory usage across all Cosmic apps and applets. So that's really good to see. I'm not able to test this out. I'm going to downgrade all of my packages back to Alpha 5 and see the memory difference. I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to take their word for it. When we look at the memory usage, I guess I would have to close everything. I'll show up a screenshot of like how much memory is being taken on my desktop, or actually I'll take a screenshot on my laptop because that's only running Cosmic, and I know that there could be other processes running in the background when it comes to other desktop environments, because I have Tejeda, Plasma, and GNOME installed also, which could be running processes in the background, so that could change the memory size when it comes to it. So I'll show a screenshot on my laptop, which is only running Cosmic, and we'll see. You'll see what memory usage is at. And when it comes to a performance boost, the display settings and wallpaper settings pages received performance updates recently, while CPU usage regarding to desktop files and workspaces have been greatly reduced. So overall, when it comes to the resource side of the Cosmic Desktop and its applications and the settings, it has been greatly reduced, and the performance has gone up a little bit on both CPU and memory. So overall, that is very good to see. And when it comes to the bugs, there is a ton of them. Now, I'm not going to read every single damn bug like I've done in every other alpha review. I'm just tired of doing it because there is so much to read on all of these bug fixes and crashes that they've fixed, and Cosmic Files issues that they've fixed, and the compositor fixes. So if you want to go and read the bug fixes, you can go read the actual blog post from System76 themselves. And the last one about the Cosmic Desktop is gaming on Cosmic. Has it improved since Alpha 5? And it has, and actually a lot in my opinion. First one is the game launches. So like Warframe, for example, or Division 2, where they simply wouldn't launch. They now do, finally. So Warframe before its launcher just wouldn't appear, but there would be music in the background. And same with Division 2. It would launch, but the game actually wouldn't appear, it would just run in the background. Now, that's not to say the Cosmic Desktop is actually good for gaming, because it isn't still, I would say. Even though we have lots of ticks, I reorganized all of these games here of which ones work well and which ones don't work well. And then we created a games launcher section also of issues that I've been having, which most of it's got to do with bottles. But when we look at games here, and we even look at the ones that are working properly, they still have some little quirks to them. So, example, Overwatch 2. Cursor works in full screen but doesn't in borderless. Game thinks I have a 60Hz monitor when I have a 144Hz, and Mango HUD likes to flicker as well. And the FPS is considerably lower versus something like KD Plasma. And I waited at least, I think it was 20 minutes in the training for the shader cache to load, because that is a thing that happens in Overwatch. When you launch it, you have to wait for the shader cache to load on DXVK, and then the FPS gets higher and higher and higher. On Cosmic, it just never gets higher. It just stays at basically 80 to 90 FPS, while on KD Plasma, I have a Ryzen 7600 and RX 6700, and I get 300 FPS in medium settings, I think it is, or 350 or something like that. So it's something like that, where the game functions and it works. The cursor doesn't work in borderless. The refresh rate is not correctly configured in the game, even though it is still displaying at 144Hz. It's just saying that it thinks I have a 60Hz monitor, and then something like the FPS. Another one's like Doom Eternal. It flickers heavily and could be a VR issue. The cursor escapes in borderless, and it's kind of hard to escape the game itself. For some reason, it likes to re-grab the cursor extremely fast, so it's really hard to escape it. Like Skyrim Special Edition, the game is reading mouse inputs while the cursor is outside of the game. When in borderless, Cosmic puts it in a window mode instead of borderless, which is another issue where games with Cosmic, for some reason, Cosmic doesn't put the game in borderless, it puts it in a window mode, because technically borderless is a window mode, so it's putting it in a window mode when it should be going into a borderless full screen type mode, but it doesn't do that. So even though some of these games are working, there is issues, and hopefully, with the next alpha release that's going to happen, and then I think the first beta that's going to come out 2 months later, hopefully, games start to just get more and more better, and that does seem to be the case. When it comes to the compositor developers, they are working extremely hard on, fixing everything and improving the compositor itself, which then improves the gaming experience. And the last thing I would like to talk about is the suggestions on the Cosmic Desktop. Some features that I would like to see, which will probably get added in the future, possibly with some of the ones that I have mentioned, like closing animations. So when you decide to not minimize, when you decide to close an animation, as you can see, it instantly closes. I feel like there should be a small animation that appears that just makes the experience with closing an app or even opening an application. Also, when you open it, it just instantly appears. I feel like there should be some animations applied there so that it's just a more smoother experience when it comes to using the desktop environment. And the next one is to set wallpaper in the Cosmic files. Now, this is like a feature that I think will probably just get added in the future, but for like right now, I would really like to see that feature be implemented. Now, I would like to see a change with the scrolling speed in the Cosmic Launcher. Either it just leave it as it is right now and add a option in Cosmic settings for it to be changed, because it takes a decent amount of time to scroll when you have like 34 plus applications on a page, and you have to scroll pretty hard to get to the top and bottom of the page. The way it was before was extremely quick, so there needs to be some either in between where it's kind of fast but not too fast, or there should be an option added where the user can configure it themselves, so then you don't have to set necessarily a default that everyone is happy with. And when it comes to one application that I do like when it comes to scrolling is the Cosmic Tweaks application. When I go to find a new color theme here, if we go to find color themes, this scrolling I would say is very nice. It's very quick, but it's not too quick where it takes like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 4.5 scrolls to get to the bottom of that page. So personally, I like that scrolling. And if that was implemented in the Cosmic Launcher, I would be happy personally. But again, I think the actual feature I would like to see is a option where you can actually configure the scrolling speed yourself. And then the last one is to allow these shortcuts on the desktop to be sorted horizontally instead of vertically. I personally like my shortcuts, if I do have shortcuts on my desktop, to be horizontally because these are pretty spaced out. And I guess another thing I would like to see is the grid spacing to be smaller. I would like these applications to be squished in more so they're more compact. But the other one would just be to do it horizontally so that they don't reach necessarily as fast when it's set to vertically. That would be two features I would like to see. So that is basically the conclusion with the Cosmic Alpha 6 release. I think it's a really good release. It has plenty of new features to be added and plenty of fixes and some bugs that I have been met when using the Cosmic Desktop still. But things are improving. Alpha 7 will come out next month, and then Beta 1 will come out the month after that. And then hopefully, if that's the case, maybe by the end of the year, Cosmic will be a actually fully fledged desktop environment with a lot of things pre-included for you. And when it comes to using Pop! OS, that will be a really good distro to choose because it will be updated, and of course the desktop environment will be controlled by the System 76 Cosmic team itself. So if you guys did enjoy this video, I definitely would give it a like, and you definitely can subscribe to the channel. We did reach like 11,000 subscribers, so I really do appreciate everyone subscribing to the channel and watching my videos that I post every like couple of days. Again, I really do appreciate it, and I'll show a screenshot of my supporters. Thank you for giving me money every single month. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.